Oh my goodness. How is everybody doing? Back for another exciting beta read. Oh my, it's been so long. I've been doing a lot of stuff. Oh my goodness. We've been busting out order after order after order, and it is driving me cuckoo. But luckily today we finally get some time to do a new video. Haven't done these in like a week and a half. Oh my. So some quick plugs. Let's get them out of the way. Like, subscribe. You know how it is. Here is some books of mine. Go ahead. Feel free to pick them up. Bright, Dreadful Sun. Oh my. Not Every Star in the Night. Oh, so scary. And of course, Yamikage, Library Edition. Oh, wow. So many books. But we're not here to talk about my books, people. We're here to talk about your books. So, real quick. Beta reader, ghostwriter, editor, and, of course, published author now. I'm about to start doing book covers too. We're also launching the publishing company, which is going to be really nice. So I am very excited to critique this. We do got a lot of orders today too. Oh my goodness. We've been busting them out left and right, but this has literally been one of our busiest months. So with that being said, it's good to relax and just, do what you got to do here. So here's how it works. When you do a Fiverr beta read, it could take, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, hours and hours. But here, what we have, in case you guys haven't seen the channel yet, is compartmentalized, almost compressed versions of that. Basically, speed beta reads is kind of what I like to akin this to. Kind of just like as if me opening it up as a reader for a first time. Just kind of reading critically. So real quick, I want to give a huge shout out to Jordan Zephyr. This is going to be awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, look out for her and some books coming your way. This should be very exciting. And I don't think this one has a title right now, or at least I did not receive one. But hey, you know what? We don't need a title right now. We're just gonna read. So, chapter 1, a new chapter. Ooh. So, I guess from editing, let's just jump right into it. Maybe for an editing standpoint, separate page, or maybe middle, centered with a larger font size. Okay, as everybody knows, first sentence, first page, first chapter, first everything in a novel is very important, especially that first line. So let's run through this. Now, usually I do have heavy critiques on presentation. The email I was sent, I actually had to put it into docs. So with that being said, the presentation's a little bit askew, but generally, we'll stay away from the presentation critiques. Although I do love the fact that we got that first sentence italicized. That's nice. We love stylization here. So, with that being said, italics are usually used to show internal dialogue, but that's totally cool. A lot of people use it for just stylizing. That's totally cool. So, Somebody I Used to Know reminds me of that song almost immediately. Blares out the speakers as sob outside the subway. Okay, so we're beginning on setting as well as sensory detail. Pretty interesting. Very good. So you could elevate setting. Like, I think, yeah, she's definitely talking about Subway, the restaurant. You could definitely maybe just kind of open that up. Maybe how is this Subway different from ours? We immediately established the world building. We're in our current world. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you're writing in our world, feel free to go ahead. You could still technically world build, maybe just kind of elevate certain objects, certain elements. You make it unique. This is not a fantasy novel. We could already tell that because I don't think there's any fantasy novels with Subway. Also, hopefully I'm not lagging. I'm seeing a lot of lag on my screen. But with that being said, maybe some more sensory detail. A metaphor could help, like blares out the speakers like. That could definitely help. With sensory detail, usually specifics are really nice. Also emotion, ladies and gentlemen. I do like this first sentence. Usually that first sentence, I'm very critical. But nah, right here, it's just a-okay. We're writing first-person perspective. There's a lot you can tell just from that first line. And I like how this author goes out like that. Maybe elevate it just a tad more. I would actually exclude Subway and maybe get more of an encompassing setting. But if anything, continue with that notion. Because what immediately follows next is a character introduction, Ruby. Be sure to elevate your character profiles. Now, I would not bring in this character so fast. I'll work on elevating the main character profile. We're already elevating somebody else. And, in the introduction, we definitely want to fall in love with the main character. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't want to like the main character. We want to love the main character. We want it to be love at first sight. So what I would recommend is after Subway, paragraph and just paragraph spaced out. I'm also sick, by the way, because you guys can't tell. But, so I would make a separate paragraph body and then have my roommate begin on a separate one. Anyways, so my roommate was modest stuff for lunch. After I filed for divorce. Okay, so what I like is there's a lot of emotion content, just right off the bat. And on the same time, there's a lot of implications just through subtext. Ladies and gentlemen, these first two lines, I love it. You usually don't get this level of information within just the first 2 lines, which is nice. So I'm loving that. Frustrated by self-pity, a lot of emotion. I love that. So she waves at me across nonverbal, presented, nice. Arms laden with sandwiches, chips, and drinks. Yummy, yummy. I got no problem there. Then I climb out the car. Cars sometimes can be utilized as plot-moving objects. If an object moves the plot forward, feel free to go ahead and describe it. Arms, chips, and drinks. First dialogue of the novel, ladies and gentlemen. Something to look out for. Always something to double check. A lot of times people like to make their first dialogue almost symbolic in a way. Almost like kind of like really heavy with imagery or symbolism. Kind of encompassing. Sometimes it has to do with genre, sometimes aesthetic. So let's double check. Of course, you'll eat again, Teresa. Maybe I would add something different, something more encompassing, something more with the central theme. But maybe that, because we're talking about Subway, and maybe that's not indicative of genre. A lot of emphasis on the food here. I would rather see. Oh, here we go. Subaru is specific. Nice. Maybe a color. Ruby House. Oh, maybe Ruby Red. I just love my husband too, and where I am. I wail. Okay, so wail is set is dead, ladies and gentlemen. Set is dead. So we're using wail here. That's nice. Okay. How long is this pity Ganza gonna last? Because I'm running out of patience. Ruby warns as we get back into cart. Nice. Gonna speed through this. Now this manuscript. We only do chapters. We got 2 here. Shouldn't take too long. We're gonna cap it at 20-30 minutes. I love you. I tell my roommate moving. A lot of emotion. I like that. I'm looking for genre. Usually I want to be able to tell that by the first page, believe it or not. I want to at least get that aesthetic. Definitely by the inciting incident, that's for sure. So I'm sorry, what a nightmare. I would like to see these character profiles elevated in terms of appearance as well. Let's see. Maybe I don't know, I say again. I guess with there being Justice Building, fill in those forms. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm all sniffled up. Well, what do you want to do from me right now? What do you want from me? Voice softens. So I like how she elevates the dialogue tags, okay? With that sensory detail. You could use as and to elevate your dialogue tags. People, emotion, and nonverbals help. I'm being a B word. Double check swear words. Double check them. Make sure you want them in there. Nothing bad or good. Just something you go, double check and think, hey, is there a better way to say this? Know your audience, know your target demographic as well. So like, let's say this is YA, that really kind of either tends to play very well or not so well. But nowadays I feel like it's becoming more like nobody really cares about swears, but sometimes I feel like I'd rather see not just something to double check, nothing bad or good here. I wipe my face, taking it. So okay, why wipe my face? That's good real estate to kind of just subtly pepper in some character appearance. So with that being said, yeah, you could definitely go ahead, see, okay, what kind of, eyes, skin color, hands. There's a lot of things you could tell. Pepper in, know when to pepper in these things. I am an unrivaled champion, my roommate speaks. Okay, one daily ask, keep coming right up. Okay, so we were at Subway. Now we're going to get to the apartment. Sometimes, especially novels, sometimes we get central themes as well as central settings. I'm hoping the apartment is going to be one of those central settings. So with that being said, go ahead and elevate your settings, especially if it's that one main one. Let's double check. I steal inside my room, curl up. Describe the room. When you describe something personal about a character, that could really say a lot. She's going through a divorce. Maybe it's like super messy. I would like to see, she got a cat. Oh, my Lanta. I love cats. I got a cat over there. An hour instead. Nelson, my therapist. Okay, so we have an archetypal character right there. Okay, interesting. How can you make your archetypal character different than the most? Things to ask. What do you want? Oh, I keep getting Snapchats from like just some random person. What the? God, religion is a part of world building. Okay, that's totally cool. We got a little bit of religion in the mix. Okay, usually you could tie that to character development in a way. Sometimes I've seen that done very well before, but this doesn't seem like that's the emphasis. Totally okay. Ruby plunks down. She okay. A lot of swearing. I would pull back on the swearing a little bit. I want to have a character profile. So like when you have like chit chat words, filler words, we see BS 3 times. That doesn't do anything for the plot. Then we see kind of words like no. Those can go. See you later. You don't need those. Aim to elevate the plot. Like what we see is because you married a Gemini. That's good because that's showing information. By the way, I have another monitor over here. So if you see me looking over there, that's why I'm looking over there. because I got another monitor. A month ago, I was going to be a mom. Aw, I can't believe we're going to have a baby. Jesus. Aim for 3 dots. I think that's what, 3 dots. Life is a FS. A lot of swearing. I'll pull that back a little bit. It's totally fine. Up to your discretion. But, it's more over because of filler words, if that makes sense. Less is more. It's maybe not necessarily about shock. It's more about, does that really need to be there? It usually establishes that the character is a little bit edgy. That's cool too. But no one pull back a little bit. A month ago, it's going to be a mom. Watch the onion chops, the ping pong dialogue, the back and forth. Something to double check. The only reason she knows about mine is because she waited outside. CVS. Okay. Cramped, worst entire of my life. Call my doctor. It was down. There's a lot of emotion in here. Oh my goodness. It opens up on this. I like that though. I really do like that. Now I'm looking for genre clarity and plot type. This is the things I'm looking for. The left brain stuff. Okay. I love the emotion. That's good. But let's look for plot type. Let's see. Could it be a quest plot? New love plot. We will see. Is the genre romance? You never know. Is it a maturation plot? That could be it. It seems that these characters are a little bit older, of course. They're married and all that. So either I would estimate young adult, but the later years of young adult, or early pure adulthood. Also known as generativity versus stagnation / intimacy versus isolation, according to Erickson. I'm a double psychology major, so I love just picking apart characters. A divorce could be really, really crazy for somebody going through divorce. It could be very tough. So I'm loving how we got that emotion in the mix. What I would not want to see, she did it right. What I wouldn't want to see is if I received this manuscript and it was I got divorced, and then it would not addressed and not a central theme. I like how she says it and then it keeps rolling. In acting, that's called yes and. It's a little bit of that. The concept is just kind of just basically keep the ball rolling. So it would be hey, this happened. Oh yeah, nice. Yes, and that also happened. And yes, and so it's a continuation. Basically, everything's playing off each other, which is good. So there's no dead ends. Let's see. Although we do see some stuff here. Your hair is perfect. Now, if that was utilized, here we go. It's curls. But maybe be more specific, what's the hair color? I want to see some elevation in these character appearances. We're not getting a lot. The profile, we're getting a little bit of their personality, but the character profile could be elevated. Let's see, ladies and gentlemen. Elevate your character profiles. We don't want silhouette characters, which is what we somewhat see here a little bit, but not as reductive as I've seen. Dude, that could go. You don't need that. But let's see. I think I have to take a test in the bathroom. Okay, where are we going? Oliver, yeah, if you guys can see the screen, the presentation's a little bit, it's a lot of onion chop, but I don't think that's how the presentation was in the email. Very interesting. I'm actually quite fluent in Oliver. Are we getting a new character introduction? Let's double check closely about Oliver. Get those profiles in there, know the elements of introductions, we got that. So we're introducing a conflict. That's nice. We introduced the 2 characters, but still stay with that, elevate their appearances, their character profiles, stay a little bit there a little longer. Before we raise tension. Raising tension is for the rising action. Usually begins at the inciting incident or right before. Yep, Ruby smile, we're stuck like glue. Whoa. We'll figure it out. Ruby said over his shoulder. Get to it! Nice. Okay. Maybe an exclamation point. Why not? I feel like Ruby's a little bit edgy too. Okay. I'm going. I fanned her away. Get lost, you Ruby. Shut the door. I set an alarm for 5 minutes as indicated. This is a very mainline novel. It's very it's very just flowing well. Nothing I have to really just kind of stop and go, okay, look at that. Okay. Are you open the door? I heard the timer. Nice. It's just a nice flow. Nothing. It's not this out of the box story. This outlandish story. I'm hoping to see some unique elements. That's what I'm definitely also. So what we do, I'm not going to call this mundane in the negative sense, just mundane in the normal sense. We want to take the mundane and find a way to make it unique and elevated in a way that it could set it apart from maybe a different divorce story or something like that. How can this one be a little bit different? Knowing the genre and knowing the plot type will remedy that. So that is what I'm looking for. That's the number one things I'm looking for right around now. As well as the inciting incident. So, she just took the pregnancy test. Is that it? We will have to double check because we know the inciting incident will kick off the events at large. Tuck Jarrett is not Tuck Jarrett. Obnoxious ear. The man I shared a life. Okay, so that's so that could also be an antagonist too. That's pretty interesting. So she loved her, but now sometimes, especially in divorce, that person you love is now your biggest antagonist. And I've seen that in other people in my life, and we've seen this in fiction and all different types of stories. So I love that dynamic. I think divorce initially is just such a beautiful what's the word here? A beautiful literary kind of element. You know what I mean? Because you take something you love and now it becomes the most hated thing, or it becomes one of your biggest obstacles. So I'm hoping that this man plays a really big antagonistic role. And as we know with antagonists, we love to hate them. So let's see if we can really elevate the resistance they're giving the main. The price of a fairy tale, get off the toe, tiptoeing, to be the toe. I would love to see appearance, maybe a unique appearance, a unique characteristic in appearance. Main character needs their appearance elevated. Same with Ruby, same with these side characters. They're silhouette characters, which are basically like just kind of characters that don't have they're just kind of like empty in terms of appearance. So let's get that in there. We should have had it definitely by now, and also peppered throughout the novel. Not too much, not too little, just, spice it up a little bit. My phone buzzes, bzz, bzz. I groan. If it moves the plot, feel free to describe it. Pour lukewarm tea into my cup. I said, my laptop's a lot of showing. A lot of telling, not showing. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to show, not tell. So double check for areas where it's kind of like feels like poking. Like this is what happened. That what happened. Some of that going on around here. Hasn't been too bad. You saw something to double check. The tears swell up again. Oliver leaps on the couch in a storm. Yeah, like Oliver, that almost went over the head a little bit. Okay. I'm okay. Telling, just reminiscent. I can make sure introducing characters with purpose, clarity. She's a very light sleeper, and she's like, Netflix. Who doesn't love Netflix? Hi, Daddy. I say calmly. Sorry, I was in the shower. That's okay, sweetheart. So we already got 4 characters here. So father's going to count as a character, a miscellaneous character, maybe. We'll see. Because usually this would be a good time to describe, bring in a last name. Last names add for memorability. So maybe Ruby could be like, oh, did he just talk to Mr. So-and-so? And then now we know. Also, another thing too with parents is hereditary traits as well. If your father looks a certain way, you might have those. You will have those elements. So, describing parents is a great way to just kind of like pepper in some extra like character appearance. Really nice. Through subtext. So my cheeks burn, asking for help. You're cheating on my mother. Let's go, brother Anthony. Okay, now we got 5. We're still in the introduction. We got 5 people here. Let's keep it small. Let's see before. Anybody else? I'm looking to see if we're cutting off that character count for now. Unfortunately, the payout did not pay out. Money expires an influx of cash we no longer had through clenched teeth. I like the nonverbals. So a lot of this novel is hitting a lot of good check marks, which is good. Not every novel does that. Still a few that could be checked off, but in my checkbox in my head, I'm going, okay, good. Love bombing, we got stylizing, nice. In terms of presentation, it's really dialogue heavy. I like to see that narrative to dialogue balance. We also have some of these onion chops, the ping pong dialogue, which goes really back and forth. Really get those nice narratives to add that contrast and use them to highlight. Because right here, I think we got one coming up. Oh, I'm sorry. My mother is the one who filed for divorce from him. Okay, so this is like a family curse type of thing where everybody's getting divorced. You have to defend Ellie. Nobody ignored on knowledge. She'd finally done something she could have forgave. 18 years of marriage. This is also a tell. Maybe if this was shown through dialogue. So the chit chat can be reduced, and maybe this could be shown through dialogue. But the narrative balance is necessary. So I'm glad this is here. This is what I like to call a cheeseburger paragraph. Cheeseburger, if you guys seen that. So sandwiches are like those 3-sentence narratives. The cheeseburgers are what I'm looking at right now. Those healthy 5 sentences right around there. I love seeing cheeseburger paragraphs. They're great for contrast sometimes. My father signed the papers. Just watch out for tells, not shows. We're revealing some of the character profile here. I would really keep the spotlight on that as opposed to, willy-nilly things like, gritted teeth, don't need that. He cheated dad. I said, he got another one pregnant. Okay. Now, see, that's something that could be an inciting incident. Doesn't seem where that's going, but let's see. Of course, he's just like you. Ooh. I feel like that was kind of gritty. I don't know. But anyways, clearing his throat is 5,000 for now. I'm out of town this week. $5,000. What a nice dad. Besides all the divorce in it. Wow. Of course, he married a woman named Darlin. So that's 6 right there. I would reduce that. Maybe bring that in a little bit later. Like right here is like how can I say this? The first chapter is almost like a TV pilot in a way. I like to say that too, where you really want to kind of like nail all elements in a way, and then kind of because that's what you pitch. You know what I mean? You pitch that first chapter. Same with that TV pilot. That's where you're pitching. So make sure the elements are there. You're not giving away too much. You're not giving away too little. Not have too much distracting material. I'm seeing a lot of that in the form of dialogue. These small strips of dialogue. Aim for material that moves the plot. Oh, we're at 20 minutes already. Oh my goodness. All right, so we got chapter 2. I requested chapter 2 because I thought that would have been too short. And let's see what happens. I'm excited. So the next morning, okay, cool. I like how we're beginning the chapter with a passage of time. I love chapter titles. Love chapters. I'm a big fan of chapter titles. Yeah, center it out. Maybe give it some stylizing. Let's see. Next morning, I decide to make Ruby breakfast. Yummy. Breakfast food. Good real estate for sensory detail. Let's see. Like smell could work. Taste could work. Let's see. I did. Really. But make sure when you're doing that, it moves the plots as well. Because through subtext, you could say a lot. Like, let's say if somebody has like a really bad breakfast, they could have a bad day. I don't know. A lot of fun things you could do through subtext with sensory detail. I tear off a piece of toast, pop it in my mouth, eyes swollen. I'm looking for the inciting incident. That's the next thing that kicks off the events at large. So that should be one of those crystal clear elements. Like, okay, this is what happens. This is what's going to change the story. This is what's going to kick off the plot at large. So the divorce, if the divorce happened in the midst of the introduction, like if you're introducing characters, she got a phone call and then the divorce kicks off, maybe with a dinkus, shows the passage of time, then that would be a clear inciting incident. But that already happened. So that's not inciting incidents, although it seems like that's going to act as one. We want to have a clear inciting incident as well as a clear plot type. Looking for that. So we got Doctor now. So that's about 7 characters. Careful. How are you doing? Okay, I hope you know. Yeah, because Doctor was definitely a big part of this. I love doctors in fiction. Archetypal character. Like I said earlier. When you have archetypal characters like doctors, I don't know, maids, janitors, all types of different things, like police officers. How can what kind of tiny, unique characteristic can you give yours? That could help. I remember, I've had a brain surgeon, so I think his unique characteristic is that instead of where all the other doctors were wearing suits, he would show up in this almost mafioso type of suit. It was just so funny. So he's the brain surgeon, but he's got this suit. That was it's just a good example of how you can take the everyman, those archetypal characters, and give them something small, different to really set them apart, make them more memorable and likable. Montgomery Mansion houses are these new settings. Linda. Knocking the door. So this chapter is a little smaller in font size on my screen. Okay, like I said, that's a translation of the presentation that was in the email going to here. Not a problem. You're getting better. Hope you long until you take your test. We can take a small talk. Looking at your kiddos. A lot of dialogue. Pull back. This is one of those areas you could kind of really pull back a lot. Authors realize that a lot of times, sometimes I think when beginner, not saying this author's doing it, but a lot of beginner authors, they'll try to remedy by adding more. No, that's actually kind of the opposite. Usually authors will eventually learn that less is more. So make sure everything's got a purpose. Double check, in the line by line edits and the redrafts. Focus up and ask yourself constantly, is this contributing or taking away? Definitely something I'm in the midst of too, editing 2 books. Wow. So I'm like an editor, beta reader, ghostwriting mode. I've got all 3 of them lined up. So I try to, when I do these beta reads, I'm taking all 3 of those roles in my head. Bobby pins in her mouth, Imogen, a mess of curls. Nice. Oh, here you go. Now we got some nice appearance here. Rowan. Ouch, mama, that hurts. Imogen walks. Emotion. Kind of a uncommon name. I think a last name might help here. Maybe some address that in a way. We get that all the time, and especially in science fiction. In science fiction, there's just like a lot of this is not science fiction. This is nowhere near that genre, but the same concept slightly, where like sometimes there's not a rhyme or reason to it. Like, how many times in fantasy or sci-fi we get like some random crazy name, and then I'm like, okay, why'd you name it that? They're like, why not? I don't know. It just sounded cool. Yeah. So maybe just double check it. Can I give this character a different name? Why do I have a different kind of name there? Nothing bad. Just it's up to author discretion. I just love when there's uncommon names to have somewhat of a reason for it. Not that there needs to be one, but I just like seeing one. So chapter 2's got a lot of emphasis on appearance. We need that in 1 as well. Okay, with that, my wash and go shoulders, emotion, and so ladies and gentlemen, just try to squint at the screen if you want. I'm over here. I got it nice and bright over here. That's nice. Oh my, you're welcome. I smiled down at her. Now let's get you ready for school. It's really kind of still convoluted with the main, who's the main, what's the main, what's their motivation. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the Jungian archetypes video, and author, if you want to take a look at that might be able to help out here. Describe what the character's primal motivation is. Like, are they trying to pursue connection? That's exactly what I'm thinking it is. That primal reptilian motivation we all have in our lives. Those are called the Jungian archetypes. Works very well in fiction. So Carl Jung, as we know, is a psychologist and a really cool dude. Pioneer of the unconscious mind. So let's see. She emerged in Pattern Straightener. Although my mother's version reason involved orange juice and rain. I'm trying to find the like big important elements, like the big picture is what I'm trying to find. I think that emphasis needs to be more on that big picture as well. Although I like how chapter 2 is getting that a little bit of these appearances here. And a size. Loves it so much, like this is really dialogue heavy. Pull back, get that narrative to dialogue balance. Sometimes elevated tags can also work as that balance, So when you have an elevated tag and then purposeful dialogue in tandem, that adds to balance. What are your choices there besides murdering Tuck? Oh, whoa, oh no. So Tuck and April are new characters, maybe. Let's double check. Theresa, my tower. He howls in agony. Oh, nice. Trying to console him. See, like that's kind of like an elevated tag a little bit. It's separated, but kind of has the same effect. Rowan, about to make a better tower. Oh no, we're not done. I was like, it stopped. What happened? Oh my goodness. Violin lesson. I love violin. I play the violin, and it's fun. Haven't done it in a while though. It's been a while. Getting you dressed, catch your bus. Let's see. Don't tell mama. She won't understand. What I like about this dialogue, it's not monumental, but what it is, it's there. They have unique voices. Very important, especially in novels like these, where it's not mundane in a neutral way, not a bad way, a good way, just mundane as in normal. Like a lot of times in novels like that, the voices can blend, as in like you could have 5 characters and they talk exactly the same. I like how the nuances, these dialogue, you can kind of tell the characters apart a little bit. I think Theresa has the shorter dialogue, if I believe that, and the other one has a little bit longer. A little bit of different. He's no longer my husband. He's having a baby with somebody else. So there's that emotion coming in again. I want to stick with those larger concepts. Getting the like kind of the new like focus when we have these small little chit chats and all that. Keep the big picture in mind always. Make sure everything is contributing to each other. I do. There's a video on that too as well. I think it's called harmonic writing. Take a look at the harmonic writing video if you want. The concept is basically everything should have a purpose. In one sentence, if you want to sum it down to that. So double check it constantly, what is this serving? Because right here, for example, we see this large narrative body here. Double check. Beginning on a conjunction on one of these things here. There you go. One paragraph. Sometimes like the worst one. No need to start with a conjunction there. He belonged to her. Unkept shirt. Nice. Chapter 2 has a lot of good emphasis on character appearance. Bring that to chapter 1. That's where it's needed as well. Okay. He and his girlfriend were clients here. Checked him in. Occupation is part of the character profile. Very good. Okay. I definitely want to see some of that. What I love is having, like, I think readers love this too. Everybody loves this. Is when that character profile is bam, like right there. Like, I don't know. We bring in Harry Potter as a reference a lot all the time here, but by that first chapter of Harry Potter, you know so much about the dude in just like 2 pages. So I love when you could start the story with like, you know, that character like almost like the back of your hand, and keyword almost, because you're improving them as you go, developing them. So I would love to see a lot more from the main, because right now it's really hard to even piece down who the main is, you know. That main character should be crystal clear when you have a lot of these characters. It kind of gets lost in translation. I'm a big fan of recommending the 4-man band trope, which usually applies to the hero's journey, but when you're talking about different genres like this, it's more like kind of like having your best buds or like the, you know, the most important characters there, and then kind of giving new characters with archetypal roles or important roles that serve a clear purpose. Right here, there's just a lot of different characters. It feels like the show Friends, just like a lot of different. I don't know. It's like kind of like a lot of chit chat. That's kind of what it feels like. Oh, we got chapter 3. Nice. Let's see the pros and cons of being alone by the time I got home. Did I speed past anything back there? We're at 30 minutes. I'm going to fly by chapter 3. Let's see. Have I signed my word? So we're getting this one as well with the passage of time. Pretty interesting. You could also utilize a dinkus. What I would recommend as a transition in for this chapter, especially since it's the third one, is kind of almost giving a slight recap on things like right now we're opening on her going to the store for ice cream. That doesn't, you know, and then the violence. Get the big picture in mind, especially during these transitions. And although I do like how these characters have like specific roles and all that. Like we got the character that plays the violin, teenager. Interesting. We got the main character. We know is that. Character profiles. I'm looking for character profiles are so important like this. I would pull back a lot of these characters. How old is the child again? So what she's doing is utilizing italics for turtle dialogue. Very good. Very good, very good. Well, I can make a promise. How shall I answer that? I'm doing a lot of reading out loud today, ladies and gentlemen. In terms of speed reading, every speed reading book will tell you not to read out loud. So I'm doing that, but I wouldn't normally do that while reading. Beta read, I would be silent. And you don't also, if you want to speed read, you don't read with your internal dialogue necessarily. Like you're not speaking the internal dialogue in your head. What you're trying to do is form images. That's what you're trying to do when you're speed reading. Speed reading. Yeah, that's definitely kind of what you do when they train you how to speed read properly. It's what you do. You get a chunk of information, try to form a swift picture, and you're skimming. It's skimming, not scamming. You're scamming. No, you're skimming down the page, and you're formulating pictures as opposed to trying to read internal dialogue faster. So let's see. Let's double check. Just random tip. I always eat all my food. She said, like that doesn't contribute. There's a lot of things in these chapters that are not contributing. Like plot type is getting lost by now. I would love to see plot type. Genre, ambiguous. Those are two. Focus on, in the new drafts, focus on those large, over-encompassing aspects and elements of the novel. Root beer and silence, your home, Ruby. Let's see. She's done. I want to see more information about the main character. That's for sure. I want to love the main character. It's hard to do that. What I associate with the main character is her situation, as opposed to her profile. Like we know she's going through a divorce. I'm remembering the main as, okay, she's the lady that was going through the divorce, and I'm trying to see how she's going to develop as a character. When you have so many characters about, that kind of gets a little lost in translation. And then we got a lot of this dialogue that's serving, some of it serving not a lot of purpose. Double check. Okay, I told her. Get a little. Okay, I like how Ruby is a little spicy. I like that. Cuts deep. That's true. So racism. That's one of those over-encompassing, big picture type of messages, core messages, central themes. I don't think that's going to be a central theme here, but it's definitely something that could be peppered into that big overall message, which is inclusivity in the literary world. Let's see something. A PC in all lives matter. Something. So if the big message of the novel is be more inclusive. That's the thing. If the big message of the novel is be uplifting, getting over things, that's a big. So what those are called are universal themes. So when people are doing their notes page, I usually recommend that during their notes page they have a heading called universal themes and write 3 core universal concepts. Same with music. When you're writing lyrics, like think of a song and be like, okay, what are the 3 things the song is going to be about? And then the whole time you have those in mind. Okay. Objects. Like, find your central theme. Like, it's really hard to pinpoint several important aspects, but I do like the nuances of the dialogue at times. Very good. Yep, you're trying to find that complement to constructive criticism balance in case any other beta readers are reading. You want to lift up the author. You don't want to bring them down. So with that being said, just trying to find that balance. And there's a lot of good happening in this novel. There's a lot of really good check marks that I'm checking off. And you don't usually see that in a novel like this, in this like kind of like normal situation type of novel. And it's very important. Sorry, my sniff. People can hear my sniffling and all that. Oh my goodness. But yeah, especially like when you see fantasy fiction, it's important to get that in there. Excuse me. I'm tired. I'm gonna lay down. Talk to you later. It's not going away from her. There's a lot of food in this novel. I noticed that too. That's pretty interesting. Story bought, of course. Oh, story bought. Store bought, of course. We'll miss you. Definitely see you tomorrow night on the cake. Darling assures me. You know I love. Sure, I manage. Con. Oh, we got some more stylizing. Ooh, nice. I would have a lot of fun with this one right here. This is nice. I like that. Con, my husband left me. Get that focus. It's still ambiguous on why, you know what I mean? Like, really keep that focus on what's important. Like, this is good because now I'm kind of getting a recap. It's getting a little bit more specific. And you're really getting that emotion. I love the emotion in this novel. A lot of people have a hard time portraying that. See, a lot of times, and this is what usually it sums up in these beta read videos, is that it's really just these boiled down concepts, you know, like setting, let's say setting, for example, like just getting elevated setting. It's such a simple thing to remember, but so hard to execute sometimes. Like emotion, you know, that's a lot of times people neglect that completely, and then you know, add more emotion, then they get confused. Yeah, so just keep those central literary elements in mind always. Yeah, so emotion is definitely one of them. So, like, notice, ladies and gentlemen, in case you're reading, that this isn't a Game of Thrones kind of gigantic world, but we have that level of emotion still in there, and that's important. You could bring emotion to any story, even a children's book, even poetry especially. Last 3 weeks ago, I believe, we did 2 poetry books, and imagery is so important in poetry. Same with emotion. And I decided, this might be the last page. Let's double check. I think I skipped over one. That's fine. We're almost about 40 minutes. Ruby, pass me the bowl. I need all the butter. Get the stomach is garbage. Yeah, see, a lot of this is unnecessary. That can go. That's my big, and this is usually always the problem. It almost always is the problem. Pull back a little bit and get the spotlight on what's important. I think less is more, especially when you're writing. I don't know if this is a novel or a short story. Chapter 3, if we're going at this pace, is probably going to end up maybe on the short end of a novel. I recommend the author try to get to that 50K. That'd be nice. If not 30Ks till the coup. It seems like it might be able to get there easily. T. Ruby Lawns. One little shit is enough for the. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's nice. Well, I don't know. It's funny. Maybe transition out a little bit better, but I do like how you're transitioning on these cheeseburger paragraphs to transition out into chapter 3. Oh my goodness. Wow. So that's the end of the novel. Good job. So let's recap. Definitely very good. So pull back what's not working. Contribute to those literary elements that need to be there in terms of plot structure. You know, introduction it's right there. Could use some elements like character profile could be elevated. Same with appearance, especially in chapter 1. Settings could be elevated. Definitely settings. I'm trying to latch on to a central setting. I thought the apartment was going to be there at first, but really when these settings come in, elevate them, because I like to compare setting to in fiction to the Matrix. Like, I don't know if you ever seen the Matrix, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, you probably have. Where there's this one scene where they're in this just big white empty room. Yeah, sometimes that's how it seems. Right here, it's like it's not necessary there, but it's just like right above there. Character profiles could be elevated. I would pull back the characters. I love the emotion. I really do love the emotion. I love the relatability. Okay, like I wouldn't personally be the target demographic for this, maybe. But I think the target demographic would enjoy this because of the relatability factor. It's really emotional, and emotion is so important for getting the reader to fall in love with the character too. The next thing that you need to do to complement that is give them unique characteristics. Clarity is important too. There's a little bit of a lack of clarity going on. plot type and genre. Those are not identifiable at this point. Two things that are just one of those simple things that should be addressed. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, double check this one if you guys want. Look out, because there is a lot of good check marks. Check being hit off. So with that being said, keep it real, like, subscribe, and of course, keep on writing. Get those 1,000 words in today. Oh my goodness. All right, and wish me luck. We've got a lot on our plate over here. See ya.